Hi, I'm Jenna.
And I'm Jody.
And we are in my backyard today. We are in Swanzey. So why don't you introduce the folks that we're here with, because you live in Swanzey, I don't.
Whoa, well, just because I live in Swanzey doesn't mean I know everybody, but that's the good thing about Swanzey is that everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And I would love to learn, more people, but today we're going to be here talking with some people about open spaces, and that has to do with the oxen and land in Swanzey. There's all kinds of information that we're going to be talking about today. So Jeannie, I'm going to ask you, This is Jeannie Teamy. She's in charge. Are you the chair?
Chairperson.
Chairperson
of the Swanzey Open Space.
Right. And so who are the other people that we have joining us today, Jeannie?
Well, we have 8 members on our committee, and we have 3 of us here today.
Okay.
And this is Teresa DeLuzio and Beverly Bernard.
Excellent. Well, welcome.
Thanks for coming.
And we have some other people in the background, I think, that are a strong part of
a very
this
big
whole
part.
thing.
Yes, they are. We have Victoria Barlow, which we might see a little bit closer, and Rick Lewis. They are our Swanzey ambassadors, teamsters. And then, of course, we have our Swanzey oxen. We have Ike and Bright, who are yoked together, and we have Jesse and James, and they're our new team.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think I'm going to ask them to come down and visit with us for a bit. Okay?
Great.
All right. Super. Victoria, I think we're ready. These guys are just beautiful. I first saw them, and we can stand right here.
Okay.
I first saw them at the old homestead, and I've always driven by and seen them, but I always wondered, why do people have oxen? I mean, what do they use them for? And I do know that you use them for the old homestead.
Right.
And I know people just love them anyway, but what else do they do?
Well, I guess to begin with, historically Swanzey was built by oxen. I mean, oxen really built our town.
Right, right.
So,
I've seen pictures where they used teams of oxen that were like 200 oxen long to move houses and all kinds of things. So people don't realize that, we have a couple of oxen here today, but they really did have a purpose.
They really did.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah.
They really did help to build the town.
Hi, James. Nice to meet you. You are so beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, so Jeannie, tell us a little bit more about who we have here as Teamsters and the boys, and then we'll talk a little bit about open spaces.
Okay. I remember the day when Victoria and I, this was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we were very busy helping Mike Johnson put his farm, a conservation easement on his farm. And this is actually a conserved pasture, piece of land. It's the Beldings Field. And Mike actually owned these 2 beautiful oxen, Buck and Ike. We lost Buck, but this is Ike, and he was one of our original oxen. And I remember coming down to the field with Victoria and seeing these 2 huge, furry oxen. And Victoria saying, you know what? The old homestead lost their oxen this year. Maybe we could take these 2 oxen of Mike Johnson's and we could use them in the play. And it just mushroomed from there. Yeah. And I don't know if Victoria, you want to add anything, but it just blossomed. Yep. I think what ended up happening too is we used them for the old homestead play, and we kind of pulled everything together and thought, wow, these are our biggest rural characters. And recently we had developed the Open Space Committee, and what the town wanted was to preserve the rural character of Swanzey. And then it was like the light bulb went off, and he says, we have Swanzey's biggest rural characters, and they're right here. And it's Buck and Ike. So that's just kind of a little, in a nutshell, the story of how things got started. In our Open Space Committee, they are our ambassadors of open space protection.
And I have one of your pins from a ways back, but I hear you have new pins.
We have, how many? We have 4 editions now.
Wow.
People are actually collecting them. Yeah. People have found them on Craigslist. So this is our newest button. It's it shows all of our ambassadors, and I can't help to I want to mention too that we have 2 little ambassadors of open space protection, and they're Meg and Beth, and they're 2 little goats. And they couldn't be here today because Deb Crowder, who is also on our open space committee, she teaches during the day, so she couldn't come with her goats. So they're also our ambassadors.
Buck passed away.
Buck passed
and then
away.
Bright took his place.
Yes.
Okay. And how old is Bright?
And Bright is 3?
He's 4.
4.
He's an ox now.
He's an ox
officially an
now.
ox.
Right.
And Rick is the teamster for these guys?
For Ike and Bright.
Right. Yep.
And so what makes an ox officially an ox?
They have to be a castrated male cow. They have to be over 4 years old, and they have to be trained.
Oh, okay.
They can be any breed.
Oh, really? Oh,
Right.
okay.
And Ike is really everybody's mentor here. He does it all.
He's the Don.
He's the Don.
They all
He,
kiss his
he
ring.
seems like a quiet giant. Yeah.
And this is Jesse?
This is Jesse, yes.
And Jesse and James, you said, are about 3?
They'll be 3 in August.
Okay, so then next year they'll become oxen?
Yes, they will. And
Okay.
they will earn their horn knobs.
Oh, is that what that is?
Beautiful. Those
That's
are
our
beautiful. And you know, I noticed also their harnesses. Those are absolutely wonderful.
This is our master leathercraft person, Rick Lewis.
Yep.
Has designed all these headpieces and collars and made them himself.
And will these be available at the old homestead or the old home days for like wristbands and?
Well, we're actually thinking about it.
It's a good idea. It really is. Yeah.
So what is an okay, Jesse and James are not oxen yet. What are they
They're
called?
working steers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, Swanzey, it's not this little teeny town. It's pretty huge.
It is pretty huge.
Yeah.
And Swanzey, I find that when you talk to people and they've come through Swanzey, oftentimes they will say, you've got such beautiful open spaces in Swanzey. When you go down Route 32, Route 10, Route 12, there's a lot of open space, and that's where I think, you know, people think, wow, that's a really special part of Swanzey. And Swanzey is about, and Teresa, you'll have to, 64 square miles,
28,000 acres.
28,000 acres.
Wow,
Wow,
I had no
that's a lot.
idea. I
Yes.
had no idea.
It's 28,000 acres. About 5% of it is actually protected. So it's a lot of open space. And our open space committee is pretty much in love with this town,
As it should be.
as it should be, I
Yeah.
think. Yep.
So approximately how much, you may have just said this, but how much property is in conservation in Swanzey?
5% of
Yep.
Swanzey.
Yeah.
Some people, we found that just in talking, some people might, who have their land in current use might think that it's protected, but it's actually not. So there's all sorts of that kind of information that we have at all our events if people want to know a little bit more about that.
Now,
So what are-
being that I'm new to all this, what is this that you're holding? It's a DVD?
This is a DVD. It's called Swanzey Rural Character. This is a DVD. It was a project that we asked Evan Barlow to do for our Swanzey Open Space Committee. Evan Barlow, Victoria's son, as a senior project, interviewed, I don't know how many, 65 of our old timers or people in Swanzey,
They can go off, yeah.
and put together this DVD. And it's still on sale. People are still buying it. We have them at the Swanzey Diner. We have them at Town Hall. And it really talks a lot about the history of Swanzey
Yeah,
and how
yeah.
it came to be and all the interesting people in it.
Looks like
We're
the boys are
moving.
ready to move.
Moving.
Maybe we should take a quick break and let them regroup. Do they need to just walk around for a minute? Yeah, this is a lot to just stand still for. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe we should just let them go and you guys can just mosey around in the back. Rural character is what really brought me to learn a lot more about Swanzey. I've lived in Keene all my life, and we moved to Swanzey about 3 years ago, and I thought, I'd like to learn more about Swanzey because I don't really know that much about it. Well, I went to this movie, the showing of Rural Character. I couldn't believe all of the pride. Oh, God, I told you I was going to cry. But the pride that people have in
Yeah.
Swanzey and
They do.
how good they feel about where they live. And I think that's one of the reasons that open spaces is really important to this area and all the small towns. I mean, I know that everybody's starting to think about the future, but that's what we have to do is we have to think now for what we have to give to our children. Doesn't matter if it's agriculture or everyday life. We need to think about those things. So tell us a little bit more about what Open Spaces has done, the future activities. I'd like to learn more.
Well, I mean, it sounds very simplistic when I say this, but basically our committee we really have fun in our town. And we've just found that, the oxen have grown into this wonderful way of, children love them. Children have parents and grandparents, and they've just become this beloved part of our town. So we have events. We have birthday parties for them. We have a little project going on that I'll tell you about that kind of revolve around the oxen. But what happens is our town comes together and comes to these celebrations, and it's just you just think, wow, this is a great place to live. We should protect this place because it's worth it. And so that's kind of where we come from. How we, it's basically how we live with the people in town and have fun with the people in town.
Right. So what are some of those examples?
Well, we have a spring celebration with the oxen. We celebrate their birthday parties. We do a walk for animals, and we have a big map that people will come and put where their favorite places are in town. And so our map is getting bigger and bigger. Every time we bring this map to something, someone else is putting a sticker on their favorite place or their favorite, where they saw an animal. So we have that at Old Home Days. We have a booth at Old Home Days next to the oxen and next to Meg and Beth.
And that's in
our
Swanzey
goats.
Center.
And that's in Swanzey Center at the Potash Bowl. As we mentioned earlier, a team of oxen, we're not sure which ones yet, are going to be at the Potash Bowl at the Old Homestead
So what
play.
I'm told is you have to go to the Potash Bowl to the play to see which oxen will be there.
Right, right. And geez, what else? We have a really fun project. Do you want me to tell that right now, that what we're doing?
Is it a secret?
It's a secret. Okay. let's tell everybody. Okay. I don't know if you've heard about Flat Stanley. Or,
Yes,
Flat
of course.
Stanley?
Yes, the books.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, Flat Stanley basically is that whole idea of taking a personality and flattening them. Okay. Well, we have done that with Ike. So,
I love that.
So we have Flat Ike. And so the Open Space Committee came up with this idea, and I remember the meeting that we all of a sudden said, oh, we could do a Flat Ike project. And I remember the meeting we came up with this project, and long story short, we're in a partnership now with the Monadnock Conservancy and the school district, and we are taking Flat Ike into the schools. And basically how we're presenting this
is wonderful.
Yeah, how we're presenting this is we have presented to children about, well, do you have a favorite open space, outdoor place? They all know about Ike. And they all know that Ike is not comfortable in a gas station.
Right.
They know that Ike isn't comfortable inside a house. Would Ike be comfortable in their special outdoor place? And where is that place? And could they take Flat Ike and put Flat Ike in their special place?
This is so great.
And then as a writing component, which has blown me away, what these students do, then they're writing about their special place and why Ike would love to be there.
Wow. And for kids, I've been seeing a lot of shows lately, how important it is for kids to get out in nature.
Right.
To get away from the computer. I know, you're watching this on television, so yes, please watch our show, but you don't have to watch all the others.
Not every show on all
Right,
those 185
right.
channels.
But it's so great for kids to
Yeah.
get out and breathe the air and look up in the trees and walk on the grass.
And what's really fun too is what we're finding out is they're bringing their parents out
Right.
to take the picture with the phone, or
that's
take
bringing the whole
picture.
family together.
Right.
It's so important.
Right, and
We've
bringing
gotten
grandparents.
away from all of this, and again, that's what I see in Swanzey a little bit more. Is
Yep.
it's not so much about fast-paced technology. It's about families and everything that we
doing
can
this.
do
Right.
together.
Outdoors.
Yeah. Right.
Outdoors.
Right.
Now,
So
are there any trails that you have that folks can walk on?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And just to finish up with this, there's going to be a learning fair May 15th at the high school where all these projects are going to be on display.
Wonderful.
Now, will you be doing this in the future? So if people don't catch this May, maybe in the future this will be something that you'll
Right.
continue on with.
Right. I mean, we need to develop a plan. We haven't gotten there yet
Yeah.
of how to release Flat Ike out to the community and out to Monadnock region. I
love it.
So
Now, will you
we
give
have
a
to-
shovel? Will you need a shovel with this flat Ike?
We could think about that.
No,
Maybe we could think
That's one of the good things about
think
having
about
a flat
it. I
Ike.
know
Yeah.
it is. It's wonderful.
So we
It
were
is.
talking just a little bit about the community and things like that. Teresa, what is it? What is open spaces about land-wise?
Well, oftentimes people really don't understand what a conservation easement can do for them, and they really don't know where to begin. So when they come to the Open Space Committee, we try to, first of all, introduce them to a land trust that will work with us and with the property owner. And they often also are not aware that what a conservation easement can really do for them, in that most people that have acreage love their land. And they really don't want to see development on that property. So, you know, we explain to them how they can still reserve a building lot or two in case they have children. Maybe they'll want their children to build a house there.
Right.
And that's all possible. Maybe they need the income. They can reserve that building lot and they can still keep their space open and enjoy their land. And we try to let them know that. And working with a land trust, and we walk their land and we try to find out what's special to them about their property. And it's always something special for them. And oftentimes people are very eager to show their property. And when they are, we will, you know, we try to do hikes for everyone so that everybody in town can enjoy the property, not just people that own the land,
that's great.
people that are part of Swanzey. And very often the property owner will go with us because they are so excited about it. But at the same time, if they don't want that, we respect their privacy at the same time.
I can tell you from personal experience, there's some property in Swansea called Honey Hill. And what I liked about it was that they have signs up that say, please respect the property. This is the property of such and such a person. And I think it's a very special place to me. My husband actually asked me to marry him up on top of Honey Hill, which is right around the corner from where we are right now. And so I thought it was a beautiful hike that, you know, the whole family could do. It's not like it's steep. So I'm sure that there's a lot of other properties that are around that people can just get out, walk, look for different things on the grounds, look up in the trees.
And just adding to that, we're trying to make maps of these properties where people are welcoming people to hike their trails.
Right.
And we're putting up trail head boxes.
Yeah, it makes it so nice.
It is.
It is.
It's
It's
so
so
nice.
friendly.
And,
Yeah.
Tip and Rock is one that we've done, and the Dominers have been so special and so willing to show their property.
Yeah.
And people never knew that, you know, Tip and Rock was there, a 40-ton boulder that you can nudge with your shoulder.
Really?
And it's
Right.
just
I
really
didn't know it was
exciting.
there,
It's
so-
It's just
Yeah, that's
exciting.
great.
It's
very
just really
exciting.
exciting for the kids
Yeah.
and everything. So
Yeah.
we try to make it, you know, fun for the whole town,
Right.
the whole community.
Right.
Really.
Well, I think this is just a great thing. Now, how do people get involved? I know that you go to a lot of events and you have your tables and things like that, and you can talk about things. But how would somebody really get involved with open spaces?
I think we're a really user-friendly group, and even though we can only have 8 members at this point, volunteers, we always need help. You know,
Do you clean trails and things like that,
we
or put up
clean
signage
trails,
and things?
we're working on signs right now. We actually have a member of our open space committee whose husband is making beautiful trail head boxes to put the maps in. So we're always looking for help in doing anything like that. Yeah, all these different events that come up that, you know, we
and
like.
everyone's welcome to come to our meetings.
Oh, the meetings are open to the public.
And do you have a website for this, or
We
is it
do.
through the town?
And they can get onto the website too. If they just go to the town of Swanzey on that website. We
Yeah.
have a website there.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent.
And
Well,
yeah.
It seems like, Jenna, when we go to and do these shows, that you guys will be probably hiking there in the next
Yep,
week or two.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
So,
Take the dog and off we go.
I think that we've learned quite a bit today about Swansea and open spaces and the boys. And if you're interested in joining us for one of our In My Backyard shows, you can contact Jenna and myself at inmybackyardch8@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you. I think this has been a wonderful experience today.
Oh, it's
Great.
been fun.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of
Thank you
fun.
so much.
It
I
is.
loved
We really
being the
had fun
oxen.
working
Yeah,
with
and
you.
thank you, Rick and Victoria, and
The
all the boys. Should we
take a bow?
They're beautiful. Bow. So thanks again, and Jenna, I think we'll see them in my backyard.
I think so.
All right.
Okay,
Take
great.
Thank
care.
you very much.
Thank
you.
you.
See you.